Good evening. When the heart stops beating and the blood stops flowing, a person is considered dead. However, exactly what time does that happen? Let's pretend for a moment that we are CSI investigators. The victim is a woman. There is redness on the back of her body and insects are present. Their husband tells the police that he has been out of town for 2 days now and that she was alive when he left. One of the investigators raises his eyebrow. How does he know that the husband is lying? There's only one thing for certain, and that is that everyone dies. Whether or not we die naturally, accidental, or a suspicious death, the people that we leave behind have the right to know why. The time of death is extremely important in establishing motives, confirming alibis of suspects, determining how and why a person died. At the moment of death, all the body systems cease to function. Blood begins to pool and no longer circulates. All the cells in the body die. The immune system no longer defends the body against bacteria, so decomposition starts at the last breath. The white blood cells that normally fight bacteria die. Bacterium literally take over the whole body, multiplying and devouring everything. One stage of decomposition tells investigators approximately how the person has died. So as the heart stops pumping, gravity will pull the blood to the lowest point of the body, and this is called rigor mortis. Rigor mortis takes about 30 minutes to begin after death. Rigor mortis is a term most of us are familiar with. Rigor is a stiffening of dead muscles, so please don't get this confused with rigor mortis. A muscle needs ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate, to function, and it does not get this after death. According to Colin Evans, author of Murder 2, rigor begins to show 3 hours after death in the muscles of the face, the eyelids, and then spreads through the arms and the legs. Rigor can give investigators a rough time of death, but can also be unpredictable. Rigor comes when it goes, so depending on the person, what they were doing at the time they were killed. One widely used process to determine the time of death is the maturity of insects present in the body. A person who has been dead a short time and has not been refrigerated will attract insects. The presence of foliage or vegetation has been used to determine where a person was, and in some cases, it can place a killer at the scene of the crime. I've given you all the facts that investigators used to determine when a victim died. Now I would like to ascertain why the husband I mentioned to you in my opening statement might be guilty of his wife's death. The victim in the beginning of my story was in full rigor mortis. There was no rigor, but insects had taken over. The couple had been seen arguing on Monday, but were not seen again that week. So that leads me to ask this question. Did the husband kill his wife? On Friday afternoon, the husband called 911. He informed the dispatcher that he had came home from a business trip and had found his wife dead at the foot of her bed. The police and the coroner were dispatched. The coroner, upon arrival, quickly examined the body. Now, from what I have told you about conditions of the body after death and what investigators used to determine the time of death, what do you think they thought when the body was in complete rigor mortis, no rigor, and was hosting fully formed flies, and there was no sign of forced entry? The fact that she was last seen in the yard on Monday would lead police to look at that timeline. The fact that rigor mortis begins sometimes after death, 30 minutes after death, and is final at 12 hours, and that rigor had come and gone, it might not move the time past the 48 hours the husband had been gone, but the flies would. So really it's all about the flies. Time of death was placed around Monday evening, Tuesday morning early at the latest, due to the body conditions. So in conclusion, I would like to remind you that the purpose of today was to inform you of the importance of establishing approximate time of death and how scientists and investigators can determine this. I told you about all the ways scientists use to establish time of death at the heart after the heart stops beating. So the woman's heart had stopped beating and her blood had stopped flowing long before Thursday when the husband claimed he last saw her alive. Thank you for your time and have a good day.